My name is Ethan Brooks, and after 24 years in the Army, I discovered something most people never understand. Sometimes the loudest place in the world isn't a battlefield. It's your own mind. That's why, every autumn, I disappeared into the mountains. No phone. No television. No city noise. Just trees. Fresh air. And silence. The forest had become my therapy long before retirement. Every October, I spent 1 week camping inside Black Pine National Forest, where I hiked the same trails I had walked for years. The rangers knew me. Local campers knew me. I always stayed in the same legal campsite beside Crystal Creek. It was peaceful. Until Karen arrived. It was my third day in the forest. The morning air smelled of pine trees and wet earth. Sunlight filtered through the towering pines. Birds sang overhead while the creek flowed quietly beside my campsite. Ranger, my retired military search and rescue dog, rested beside the fire pit. Life couldn't have been better. I brewed coffee over the campfire and watched the sunrise. Then I heard engines. Luxury SUVs. In the middle of the forest. That usually meant one thing. People who weren't here to enjoy nature. 3 shiny black SUVs rolled into the campground. Doors opened. Out stepped nearly a dozen people carrying expensive camping equipment that still had store tags attached. They spoke loudly. Played music. Left trash on picnic tables before they had even unpacked. Among them was a woman wearing designer hiking clothes that looked as though she'd never actually been hiking. She removed oversized sunglasses and looked around with obvious disappointment. This place is smaller than the pictures. Her husband shrugged. It looks fine. No. She pointed toward my campsite. I wanted that one. Unfortunately, that campsite was mine. Legally reserved. About 10 minutes later, she walked over. Excuse me. I looked up from my coffee. Morning. I'll need you to move. I smiled politely. I am sorry. We want this campsite. I glanced around. There are several empty sites nearby. I don't want those. This one's reserved. She folded her arms. I'll pay you. No, thank you. I'll give you $500. I laughed softly. It isn't for sale. Her smile disappeared. You don't understand. I think I do. We've already unpacked. So have I. She stared at me, clearly expecting me to give in. When I didn't, she walked away without another word. That should have been the end. It wasn't. An hour later, 2 park rangers arrived. They walked directly toward my campsite. One of them smiled. Morning, Ethan. Morning. The second ranger looked uncomfortable. We received a complaint. I couldn't help laughing. Already. The ranger nodded. They said you're camping illegally. I handed him my permit. He barely glanced at it. Everything checks out. The first ranger sighed. I figured it would. Before leaving, he lowered his voice. Looks like you've met Karen. I smiled. I was wondering. Across the campground, Karen watched the entire conversation. She didn't look happy. Not even close. She marched toward the rangers. I thought you were removing him. One ranger remained calm. He's in a legal campsite. I don't believe you. We verified everything. Check again. We already did. Karen crossed her arms. This is unacceptable. The ranger took a deep breath. No, Excuse me. False reports waste emergency resources. Karen rolled her eyes. I'll call someone who actually does their job. Then she pulled out her satellite phone. The campground fell silent. Because everyone knew. She wasn't finished. That afternoon, dark clouds gathered over the mountains. The wind grew stronger. Campers prepared for rain. I secured my tent. Gathered firewood. Fed ranger. Everything felt normal. Until distant rotor blades echoed through the valley. Everyone looked toward the sky. A helicopter. Not a sightseeing helicopter. Military. Low. Fast. Heading straight toward the campground. campers rushed outside. Phones appeared everywhere. The helicopter circled once, then slowly descended into the open meadow beside the ranger station. Dust and leaves exploded into the air. Karen smiled confidently. She turned toward me. I told you. She genuinely believed they had come because of me. She couldn't have been more wrong. The helicopter doors opened. Several uniformed officers stepped out. One of them looked directly at me, then raised his hand in salute. Every camper froze. Karen's smile disappeared. The senior officer walked across the meadow, stopped in front of my campsite, and spoke words nobody expected to hear. Colonel Brooks. We finally found you. The entire campground fell silent. Even the wind seemed to stop. Karen slowly looked from the officers to me, and suddenly realized she had just spent the entire day trying to throw a decorated army colonel out of his own campsite. To be continued.